What's up, everyone? Sean Count Blagrith here today with a rant. This is a rant I have been wanting to do for quite some time now, and I feel like the time has come with this complete outcry of just absolutely stupid posts I've been seeing, and I gotta get this off my chest. This rant isn't about a group of people. Maybe you could see it as that. This rant isn't about my hatred towards elitists, as I'm known for having for some reason, even though I stated many times that elitism is not the actual problem. It's douchebaggery that comes along with it is the problem. Nothing to do with that this time. I'm here to talk about a term I loathe with every fiber of my being, and that is Viking Metal. Fuck. For those of you that don't understand my hatred for the term Viking Metal, let me give you some reasons that are pretty logical in my opinion as to why I hate the term so much. First and foremost, you're making a genre out of a lyrical theme. I want you to take a step back from yourself and what you think, and I want you to analyze the statement of we're making a genre, a style of music, out of a lyrical theme. Now, regardless of what you believe or not, you have to tell yourself at one point, this is kind of retarded. Why are we saying that a band is Viking metal, and why are we giving bands a special little term for their style and make them a little bit more important than what they really are by saying they're Viking metal or they're beer metal or pirate metal? Come on. Are we really going to stoop to that level of stupidity? Really? Are we? Because I feel like that's what's going on in the community. Now, a lot of people are going to tell me, hey, Count, I'm gonna nail you down with this little tidbit of information. I bet you didn't know this. Bathory started Viking Metal, and those Bathory albums are Viking Metal. I love this argument. I love it. This is my favorite. Because if you really want to sit down and analyze the Bathory Viking albums, let's start off with Bloodfire Death. Bloodfire Death was kind of a thrashy black metal album with a tiny bit of folk influence scattered here and there. Nothing really over the top or out there. It was more of a black metal release. Then we get Hammerheart, which is this absolutely epic, bombastic piece of folk metal. We have no black metal on this album. We have folk metal. Now we have Twilight of the Gods, which is an even more acoustic piece and more atmospheric piece of folk metal with no black metal on it. And then we get to the almighty Nordlands 1 and 2. Now I got a secret for you about these albums, and I need you to come close, alright? These albums are folk metal. Okay, I want you to repeat it with me. Folk metal. It's easy to say. If you feel uncomfortable saying it, sound it out. Folk metal. Bathory Viking era is folk metal. Now, if you want to make the argument that this is the Viking sound, then why are people calling enslaved Viking metal, especially their early era? Is it because of their little outfits that they have on? Is it the Thor's hammer and the logo? Is it the lyrical themes of Norse mythology? Is it the fact that it's folk and black metal combined? Now, if you want to make the case that you call these guys Viking Metal and you call Bathory Viking Metal, then my question to you is, why are you doing that if you can obviously hear the difference? And then if you want to sound even dumber, you could even say later era Enslaved, like the Sleeping Gods EP, is folk metal. Not folk metal, excuse me, Viking metal. If you want to be that dumb, be my guest. But this album doesn't really have much in common with Frost or Bathory. And then we have Amon Amarth, who sound nothing like Enslaved. And then we got Encephalum, or Encephalum, or however you people are gonna correct me. We have this album, Victory Songs. We have Iron, Unsung Heroes, the self-titled Dragon Heads, From Afar. In before the comments of, they're finished, they weren't Vikings, they say in interviews they're not Vikings. That looks like a Viking on the cover to me. The lyrics sound pretty Viking-ish to me. But you know what? They sound nothing like Amon Amarth, who sound nothing like Enslaved, who sound nothing like Bathory. And then we have Leaves Eyes. Now, no one would call them Viking metal. Yeah, I've heard it called that. Some people would say you're insane, and you know what? You're right. They're symphonic metal with Viking lyrical themes. Okay? My lighting's kind of dark, excuse me. And then you have Isengard, who's been called Viking metal so many times, it's painful. It's folk-influenced black metal. Alright? Then we have weird Finnish folk metal. Then we have Graveland, who don't really sound like, at least anymore, Nocturnal Mortem, and who also doesn't sound like Sorgsvart, who does not sound like Tyr, who does not sound like Thivering. Do you get what I'm saying? For a genre to be, at least to me, for there to be a genre to exist, you have to have a consistent sound. Viking metal is lacking severely in a sound. We have black and folk metal, which is what a lot of people consider it to be, but in all reality it's black and folk metal, or black metal with folk influences, which oddly enough is actually a lot of NSBM, but we're not going to get into that whole side of things. I have no problem with folk metal and stuff like that. Some people consider it to be an umbrella term because all you have to do is have folk influence, but that's typically more than one thing to make the music considered to be folk metal, at least to me. Carcass are not gore grind. They're death grind. They're death metal and grindcore. That's what gore grind is. People need to understand these sort of things. If you guys are going to argue that all those albums are Viking metal, I'm going to argue then that Behemoth are Viking metal because of Grom. You see that sword, that spear, that shield? I'm going to call this Viking metal then. I'm going to call Amorphous Viking metal because, I mean, on the back of my shirt, there's a Thor's hammer. Do you get at how ridiculous this is? I'm done. I hope I made an impact. I hope I proved a point. If I didn't, I'm a retard. If I did, great. If I made you angry, good. Leave it in the comments. Tell me I'm a faggot. Do whatever you want. But I'm here to let you guys know that Viking metal does not exist. There is no such thing as Viking metal. That's all I gotta say. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And as always, keep it metal.